Well, good morning, and welcome back to Nacho Stuff, where we're driving around in the rain. Oh my gosh, it's way worse today than it was yesterday. So, we're probably not going to be able to film a ton because it's coming down pretty good, and I've got an older GoPro. But I did see some stuff when I was coming down that way. I saw a baseball bat and a vacuum cleaner. So I wanted to come in and at least say good morning. We're going to film what we can when we can. Actually, it's slowed down a little bit right now. We back into the spot. We could probably do this one. But it's pretty miserable today. And hopefully we don't find any pickers, because that would be pretty disappointing, because they're all going to be trashed. Oh, that's upside down. I was going to say, oh, let's check that box. But anywho's, it's pretty yucky out today. Hopefully this rain stops, because that way we'll film more, but we'll do what we can. Worst case scenario is maybe if we get sent home because it's so nasty out, we can do a breakdown video. But you'll know by the title whether we ran a run or whether we're breaking something down. So let's get after it. All right, guys, the moment you all been waiting for. Hopefully that picks up, because the camera's gonna be a little bit away from my workstation, but I'll start to speak loud so you can hear me. If not, it'll be more silent. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna break down a ceiling fan today. What I've done with this fan is I've taken the paddles off just to make it easier. You guys know how to remove the paddles, but we're gonna talk about the different ways to turn this in. For a ceiling fan is a very common item that we'll all find. This ceiling fan, like I said, had the paddles on and weighed 19 pounds with the paddles on. I've taken the paddles off just to make the breakdown a little more simplistic. But we're gonna break it all the way down, and we'll talk about the different pricing. At 19 pounds with the paddles on, that's the way my yard will take it as shred. So that works out to this figure here at shred. So we're going to break it down to a motor and aluminum with some additional shred, and we'll go from there, and we'll give you the price with that when we're done. Ceiling fans are really very common and super easy to break down. This one actually was missing the screws. There's normally screws that are going to go around this hub, which is where the electric goes. And then there's going to be screws on the top, or sometimes they're on the side. There's generally 3 to 4 of them. You pull those out. I don't have clippers. And then that's going to be more shred. We're going to phase back to this once I get the clippers. These clipper here will work, but they're not ideal. You have the small pointer ones, they'll fit in the crevices and cracks. Or the fan a little bit easier, but this is the first one I found, so it's the one we're going to use. Life of a scrapper, right? Use what you got, not necessarily the right tool, but a tool. Inside this hub will be a little bit of wire. You can choose to go after it or not. For the sake of the video, I am going to go after more versus less, just so we can talk about what figures are. One of the things I do want to throw out there, though, is you have to be sensitive of what your yard pays for different things. There is no right way of scrapping when you're taking things apart. Every yard pays different. Every yard classifies things differently. So understand how your yard classifies things, because that will dictate what you want to do. I should probably time this beforehand, but I'm going to say it's going to take me 10 minutes to get, or maybe less than that actually, to get from, we can use the clock from the video, but I was saying each yard's going to pay a little different, so know what your yard's going to pay for different things, on whether it makes sense for you to break things down further or not, and scrap the way you want to, because that's all that matters. Some people are scrapping for every dollar. Some people are scrapping for a hobby. Some people are scrapping just to get it done, and they're not going to chase every dollar. You do you. But not knowledge is power. All right, so now we've broken this down. We're going to have that wire's probably not going to weigh. Let's see. Got an ounce, 0.3 of wire. So I'm going to write that down so we know it. 1.3 of wire. Aluminum. 1 pound, 13 ounces. 1 pound, 13 ounces of aluminum. And then we'll get to the tread at the end. And then the motor is going to be 9 pounds, 3 ounces. 9 pounds, 3 ounces for the motor. So that is going to be this. Screws, the paddles we can't turn in. 6 pounds, 7 ounces of shred. 6 pounds, 7 ounces shred. All right. Now for the diehards, they're going to break this down and get the copper out. I personally, this is where I stop. I turn it in as is, but we'll find out whether I was wrong or not. I could have been. I'm just going to take out the remainder of the screws. Look for screws and take them out. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. Some of them are going to require you to take the center screw out, some of them aren't. You need to find out how your fan works and what's the fastest, easiest way to take it apart. I don't have my device set up yet, so I'm going to be doing things probably a little bit more archaically. This should be aluminum. Turned off. That's not always going to be aluminum, but that one is. That gives us another 3 ounces of aluminum. And then this is where I struggle because I don't have a vise on this one here. If you hit the end, these should go apart. I'm going to try the tried and true method of just smashing stuff. This I'll probably have to cut off because these don't always want to come out. But you'll see we have copper windings in here. Actually, that's what that can be sometimes. These are copper. You probably can't see that from here, but these are going to be copper. So you can actually get these out without taking them apart if you want to. That's the route I'm going to go because I'm not necessarily looking for speed today. I'm just going to kind of use my grinder just to make things easier for me. We'll put this, that's negligible wire there. I'm going to call this net. Actually, I put this with the strap here. And then I'm going to zip through and pull these out. I really wish I had the other side off. But I have to remove this nut to do that. When using power tools, it never hurts to be safe and wear safety glasses. I'm infamous for ignoring that fact. I'm going to try to be better. once you just get to the opposite side, and just pull in the copper through. Of course, if you pull this other side off, it'd be a little bit easier. final results. We end up with another 8 pounds of shred. 8 pounds of shred and $14.1 of copper. So I'm going to get this cleaned up a little bit and get it in their proper piles, and then we'll do a wrap. Alrighty guys, here we are. We're totally broken down, and here are the results. I've crushed the numbers. I didn't take into account the loss of this. This is going to be a pound and change the paddle, so that's now garbage. But we started off with a 19-pound fan. Shred in my area is paying 6 cents a pound, so that fan was worth $1.14. Throwing it in the pile, not doing anything. I personally like to break down my fans, which is taking the paddles off, getting the aluminum. Wire is negligible, but getting a little bit of wire, and then getting the electric motor, which is this steel and this copper. So this will be kind of what you're ending up with your goodies and your steel. Shred is 6 pounds, 7 ounces for 80 cents. Wire is a whopping 1.3 ounces at $1.10 a pound, which is 9 cents. Aluminum weighed 1 pound, 13 ounces at 40 cents a pound would be 72 cents. And then the motor, if it was still together, would be 9 pounds, 3 ounces at 22 cents a pound for $2.02, for a grand total broken down for $3.63. So we increased by $2.50 basically by just doing a little bit of work, a couple of screws and separating them. And then I went all the way, which is I don't normally do, and the results tell me why I don't do it, because it doesn't take that much more time, honestly, once I got it broken apart, but the second half always gives me a problem, and that's why I don't do it, because it doesn't make, to me, that huge of a difference, and it's not worth the hassle. But let's get into it. Shred, we went from the 6 pounds, this gets added to it, because this is all now garbage, that's shred, and so we're adding that poundage there. So now our shred goes from 6 pounds, 7 ounces to 14 pounds, 7 ounces. So we added 8 pounds, which makes our shred total 87 cents. Aluminum stays the same. In this case, we did pick up this little bit. It's negligible. This was almost 3 ounces. So it's not going to change the weight a whole lot when we're doing things on pounds. And I'll get into the scale part here in a minute. But that's 1 pound, 13 ounces still for 72 cents. And then the copper is 14 ounces. Oh, I forgot to add the wire. Where's the wire? The wire is 9 cents. The copper is 14 ounces at $2.80 a pound is what I'm getting paid. So that'd be a total of $2.45. I got to add in the wire, which was 9 cents because I don't have it on my list here. So our total there would be $4.13. But I had $4.04. Like I said, I didn't count this, which that's probably a couple of pennies. So it's a little over $4. So we went from $3.63 to $4. So you're getting an extra 40 cents. In my case, to have to cut this off, to have to bang off the other thing, to have to pull out all the things. Personally, I don't think it's worth it. Some people love it. Some people love the tactile process of it. I personally coin roll hunt, which is simply going through coins. My wife hates, filling coin rolls. I personally find it satisfying to go through it. So if you're the person that likes to break it down, be yourself, man, do it. But from a dollar aspect, I don't think it's worth it because we have a cutting wheel process, we have time, and we're not making that much more. But that's where we are with the fan. Let me know what you guys think of the first breakdown video. It's going to get a little bit better. It's raining outside today, so I had to kind of get pushed up in the garage. And this is our first time doing the breakdown. But I do want to mention the scale. You'll notice all of these are ounces and pounds, and we're getting every ounce of the value. For example, this wire is 1.3 ounces. We're paid by the pound. So first of all, you have to know your scales. Well, first you need to know what your yard takes and doesn't take, but then find out how they pay you. Because shred, for example, our scale is a 20-pound scale. This might not even show up. This is 14 pounds, 7 ounces of shred. If I am right on the cusp, this could be free to the yard. So that might not be 87 cents. That might be free. It depends on where I'm tipping the scale at the end. It might be just enough to get up to the next 20 pounds that I need, because maybe I was at 15 and this brings me to 20, or 20, 15 plus 14 would bring me to 30, so now I'm into the positive. But you're not going to be paid per ounce, per pound, unless you weigh everything out to the exact poundage, but that's assuming you're weighing on a 1 pound scale. So know how you're paid, know how you have to process things, and then figure out for yourself whether it's worth it or not. Based upon my current prices in my yard, I'm going to stick with the electric motor, the aluminum, and a little bit of wire. What would you do? Well, let me know in the comments, and I'll continue to do breakdowns. Hopefully they get a little bit better, and then my setup gets a little bit better, but this is what we had today. Hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to smash that thumbs up, and it's Nacho Stuff. But that doesn't mean you can't take someone else's trash and turn it into cash. So until tomorrow, hopefully less rain, and we can get back on the streets. Have a great one, guys.